service of CandC Worldwide.
The Daily is a service of CandC and Jib Jab greetings. I'm Bud Lowell. Your full AccuWeather forecast is always on top here on your CandC local pages. The operators of Rochester General Hospital are buying the Linden Oaks Medical Campus in Penfield for $40 million. Rochester General Health Systems announced Thursday morning that it will acquire the site at Linden Oaks Drive and Hagen Drive from Giannini Associates. It will use the campus to expand its ambulatory care services. President and CEO Mark Clements says they'll move the ambulatory surgery center to the Penfield site from its current location on Lattimore Road. They'll expand an existing building at 360 Linden Oaks by 29,000 square feet as part of the project. Clements says about 70% of the tenants in the three other medical office buildings on the Linden Oaks campus are already affiliated with RGHS. Contractor Crane Hogan began pouring concrete Thursday for the new Edgemere Drive Bridge in Greece. The Monroe County Department of Transportation was able to start work again last week because of the unusually warm March weather. If the good weather holds, the bridge should open on May 24th, maybe earlier. The break in Edgemere Drive has made it tougher to get from Charlotte and Rochester to Greece along the Lake Ontario shoreline. Speaking of Charlotte, it may be the end of the line for the old Hojack Railroad Bridge at the Port of Rochester. CSX Transportation has filed with the state for permission to demolish the bridge and its underwater supports. The railroad swing bridge near the mouth of the Genesee River is more than 100 years old. Some consider it a landmark, but to the Coast Guard, it's a menace to navigation, and they've been pushing the railroad for nearly 10 years to get rid of it. The tracks were last used in 1995 and have since been torn up. CSX offered to sell the bridge, but there were no takers. They now hope to hold a public hearing on demolition plans in April, start tearing the bridge apart in October, and have the work done a little over a year from now. And here's a bit of history for you. A New York Central freight train headed by this steam locomotive tried to cross when the bridge was still open in April of 1947, and it plunged headfirst into the Genesee. This photo is from the collection of the Charlotte Genesee Lighthouse Historical Society and the Lighthouse Museum. No word if anyone was killed back then. The bodies found in the Genesee River earlier this week have been identified as 54-year-old David King and 46-year-old Michael King of Batavia. Both men had been missing since the night of February 19th, when another brother dropped them off on the I-390 bridge just south of Scottsville Road. The men were trying to recover David King's car, which was stranded on the shoulder. Police think the brothers may have tried to jump the center barriers to get across the interstate to the car, not realizing they were on the Genesee Valley Park Bridge. When they jumped the barricade, they would have fallen 100 feet into the river. Lieutenant Governor Robert Duffy will replace Eastman Kodak Company's CEO Antonio Perez as head of a panel working to reform and downsize New York State government. Perez was originally named by Governor Andrew Cuomo to head the Spending and Government Efficiency, or SAGE Commission. Paul Francis, New York's Director of Agency Redesign and Efficiency, served as co-chair. Perez quit when Kodak declared bankruptcy and began its own reorganization. Governor Cuomo has named Duffy to replace him. Francis will serve as deputy. With the onset of warmer weather, New York's black bear population is on the move. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has issued advice on how not to run into one. Basically, don't feed them. Don't leave seed in your bird feeders once winter is over. Don't put out garbage until the morning of pickup. Don't put meat scraps or melon rinds in your compost pile. Feed your pets indoors, and clean your grill and store it inside as soon as it cools down. Once a bear identifies a certain spot with food, it will keep coming back, and you might end up having a face-to-face. There are links to the left of this window for more information on these and other stories. Next news as it happens on CandC, with updates when necessary. For CandC Worldwide, I'm Bud Lowell.